And good day and welcome to another Coffee with EMCSA session. I'm myself, I'm Rob Walker from EMCSA, and today I have the utmost privilege of being joined by George Mienie from AutoTrader. George, welcome to this afternoon session.
Hey Rob, really great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, George, for those who maybe don't know you, you are the current CEO of AutoTrader SA. But I think maybe more important than that position, as big as that position is that you're one of the few advocates who lives, breathes, drives EV. You've driven the message. You drive the car. Give us a quick, synopsis, maybe a bit of a background to who George is as a person and how you got to being the CEO of AutoTrader.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Yes, I do. I drive a battery electric Jaguar I-Pace. I have been for about 18 months now. Soon that'll be 2 years. It's been an absolute mind-blowing journey to drive one of these cars. It is the best thing you could do. Your senses just open up. When you lose the exhaust noises, you start to notice other things, the least of which is the acceleration of these cars. So yes, love my battery electric. Besides the battery electric Jaguar I-Pace, the fuel cost reduction is unbelievable. Especially if you, like me, if your house is off the grid and you're using solar to charge or to run your house. If you've got enough solar and spare capacity, you can use that to charge your car as well. And I've proven for the last 18 months that it's actually possible. So that's been an absolute mind-blowing journey to switch from a traditional ICE vehicle to a battery electric. CEO of AutoTrader, been around the block here for almost 20 years. Been in the automotive industry in some way, shape, or form for almost 30 years, but been in this company for about 20. Very short story. AutoTrader was founded by AutoTrader UK in 1992 as a print business, founded in South Africa as a copy-paste, effectively, of what was AutoTrader in the UK. They operated the business right up until we did a management buyout in approximately 2012-ish, around there. We did a management buyout. Myself and a couple of management team members managed to get funding, and we bought the business. And our objective then was to turn a then print business into a digital marketplace, and we did that. Closed the magazine officially in 2017. The car side of the business. We closed the commercial magazine during the midst of the pandemic. Actually, the pandemic actually fast-tracked the commercial truck side of the market to digital only, and then we sold the business to its current shareholder, which is Naspers, effectively, and now we are a fully fledged digital marketplace. And I'm very fortunate and thankful to have been in the position to lead a leading brand like this for 2 decades.
Fantastic. And I think, George, you've obviously, you're a big motorhead. I know we've spoken about this before. You're a guy who loves his cars. But let's talk a little bit more about your advocacy for EV. I mean, you've really been one of the forefront personalities out there. You have a podcast, you talk EVs, I think you talk at a lot of events. When did you kind of make this decision to kind of, don't want to say make the switch, but, become this real, put your brand out there as an advocate for EVs?
Rob, I think the first time that I came across an EV was when I went to Dubai. I think it was Dubai. I got into a Tesla for the first time. I had been kind of following the Tesla journey and Elon Musk for a little bit, and it was fascinating, but really didn't understand EVs to the extent that I understand them today until I actually got into a Tesla. I managed to drive in one, then experienced a Tesla when I went to the United States. Went to the Fremont factory, went and got a tour of the Fremont factory. And it was then that I realized and put the pieces together that South Africa was to follow a very similar path. And this was many, many years ago, probably 5, maybe 7 years ago now. And it was at that point in time that the penny started dropping, because until that point in time I was very, very focused on building a digital marketplace. Yes, I know quite a bit about cars. Fortunately, it's because I've been in the game for a very long time. But my passion was really the digital marketplace, the buying and the selling of vehicles, making it easier for consumers and for car sellers to transact. So that's what AutoTrader is about. But on that journey, I discovered EVs and what they can do, not only for the planet, but more importantly, how simple their technology is. With an ICE vehicle, you've got 2,000 moving parts. With an EV, you have maybe 10% of that, maybe 200 odd moving parts. And so besides the environmental positive impact, I mean, let's all be honest, in manufacturing an EV, you're sucking 8 years worth of carbon emissions to the point of manufacture. So nobody is oblivious to that. It takes approximately 7 to 8 years for an EV to become carbon neutral, or carbon equal, if you want to call it, to an ICE vehicle, because an ICE vehicle emits carbon when you use it. An EV emits no carbon when you use it, but it is front-loaded in its manufacture because of the lithium-ion battery mostly. Okay, so that's kind of the simple comparison between ICE and EV. But beyond 8 years, that's the first element. The EV is much more environmentally friendly than an ICE vehicle. But that is, while a big part, as I say, of the drive for EVs, for me, an even bigger part is it's just better technology, hands down. It's simpler, it's better, it's faster. And the future has to be better because of this. So for me, the love was the environmental factors, but more the technology itself. It's almost like going from a Nokia 2110 to the Apple iPhone I'm talking to you on right now. You know, nobody wanted to believe that the keyboard was going to disappear off the BlackBerry. And it's the same with an EV.
Fantastic. I mean, and I think, George, you know, anyone who speaks to you for more than 5 minutes, you know, can see your passion for it. And I think you're probably one of the leading people in South Africa driving, you know, the awareness and you know, making people aware of what's happening and giving them the right information. So when we talk about the right information, let's talk a little bit about your session at EMCSA this year. We're very privileged to have you as one of our main speakers. What will our audience members, both in the room and online, expect to hear from you this year? I mean, you've always got some wonderful bits of information that you're going to drop on us. Any preview for us?
Yeah, so you know, besides the lot of data and real physical first-hand experience that I have, that the business has, and the passion for the future of you know, e-mobility and EVs, we've just recently conducted and finalized the hybrid vehicle survey, which in our mind is going to be the middle step to battery electric. So what I mean by that is currently in South Africa, the battery electric vehicles on the road, the Jaguar I-Pace, the BMW iX, the Audi e-tron, I mean, the Porsche full battery electric is probably one of the most expensive, but all of them are in the region of the Mienie SE at 650,000 Rand, right up until, you know, 1.2, 1.5 million Rand. And then, as I say, the Porsche is, you know, way into the 2 millions. So that caters for a very premium segment of the market. And that's going to be the case for a little while still. So what is the interim solution? Because our electric vehicle surveys over the last 3 years have clearly shown that there is appetite and a demand for battery electric vehicles. There are only 3 things that have to be addressed, and those 3 things are quite big. And that's range, charging, and then the third one, which is the biggest, and that is the price point. You and I, Rob, have spoken before about this magic price point being 500,000 Rand. There is no EV in the market at the moment that is under 500,000 Rand. And in order for us to get mass adoption and scale in the country, we have to have an EV for under 500,000 Rand. And the penny dropped for us at the end of last year when the Toyota Cross Hybrid was launched by Toyota. And those cars, the supply just couldn't keep up with the demand. So there's definitely appetite, and the consumers are going for the hybrids because they're cheaper, because they're under the 500,000 Rand mark. So we've just launched the hybrid vehicle survey, which now shows even more than it ever has in the past that consumers want the change. They're just waiting for the right vehicle to come to market. And so we'll share some of that, and then some of our latest data related to battery electric vehicles and consumer search, as well as our belief on what the future holds.
Fantastic, George. I mean, it's always great, having you there and having you speak, because I think unlike maybe a lot of speakers, you come from a consumer-centric side of you, so you understand what the consumers are asking for, and you also have this massive data that from AutoTrader that you can back that up with some real facts. So, hearing you speak about those types of things and that the demand is there is always super interesting. I absolutely cannot wait for your session.
Can't wait to be there, Rob. It's going to be an absolutely epic day.
Fantastic. Well, George, I know you're a very busy man, and we're going to let you go. But just from myself and the whole EMCSA team, thank you so very much for your time this afternoon, taking a few minutes out to spend some time with us. And we will see you in about 6 weeks' time down in Cape Town for EMCSA.
Can't wait. It's an absolute privilege. Thanks, Rob.
Fantastic. So that was George Mienie from AutoTrader chatting with us about his session and just giving a bit of insight on what we can look forward to hearing from him at this year's EMCSA. From myself, Rob Walker, and the entire EMCSA team, thanks very much for joining us. Goodbye.